Okay, if you're keeping time with the videos that I've been posting, check out the playlist, right? You're seeing that what I'm trying to do is I fried up my meatballs. I had some brown bits in the pan. I'm trying to lift up those brown bits to incorporate flavor, give it a multi-dimensional flavor profile into the sauce, which I'm eventually going to add all this stuff in here. What I did was about 3 tablespoons of olive oil went into the pan, lowered my heat to low, and red onion. It's an entire red onion chopped up. And look at how the onion did its job. Look at all those brown bits coming up. So if you're making meatballs, you're frying them in a pan, you're like, oh my God, I got all this stuff stuck to the bottom of the pan. Don't jump for the wine right away. Don't jump for whatever you're going to throw in there, because you're more likely to crack the enamel. Just use some olive oil, some red onion, and eventually your brown bits will lift. So there's your tip for the day. Like I said, if you've been following along in this video series, you'll see that eventually all this is going to come up. So I'm going to move these back over again. And every once in a while it's good to do this just to make sure you keep the pan coated with oil so that everything's moving. I'm using a, what is this, Dehydrator? This is a silicone spatula. But you can really use any kind of implement. In this type of cookware, which is a Trementina half Dutch oven, I like either using silicone or wood, like any kind of wooden spatula, wooden tool, whatever. Don't use steel. Like raw steel in here will just scratch that enamel. Bad thing. You might have to throw away an entire pan. But what you want to do is you do want to move things back and forth. You could use tongs. Like if you want to use, like these are the, what are these, Oxo Good Grip 9-inch, 10-inch tongs. You know, you could use these, do some scraping action. See how much more that's coming up. We're almost there. Like when I feel like my onions are like cooked just a touch more, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw in some of the spices, right? I'm going to throw in the garlic. Actually, we are almost there, so I may actually continue. Hey, 2-for-1 video. We're going to continue the process. Okay, that's good enough for me. So here we go. Let's keep going. It's important. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. And check out the description section. Okay, so keeping time with the videos. We did our meatballs, right? We fried them up. Got all these brown bits in there. We're still on low heat. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to throw in my celery. Right, get that in there. And then this is a good chance to toast up your spices. So my bay leaves are going to go in, right? Those are 3, I believe I had. Yeah, 3 bay leaves went in there. Now what I want to do is I want to get some red pepper flake. And this is totally optional. What I like to do is maybe a couple shakes, right? And I'm doing all this before I put the sauce in, or the crushed tomatoes, because I want to help to release some of those oils that are in, like the bay leaf and the crushed red pepper. Now we're going to do some clove. This is potent stuff, okay? Potent stuff. I grind my own clove, by the way. Get them, whole and then just grind them up or whatever. But let's see if I can do this in one hand. Oh, one-hand abilities. Okay. So just one little dash. That's all you need. That's it. That's maybe more than I needed. But this is going to give a nice little sweetness to the dish, right? And kind of balance out a lot of these flavors. So there you go. I'm going to mix all this in. We're just releasing those oils. Low heat. Very important. You don't want to burn anything here. You just want low heat. Releasing of the oils. Okay. Wow, this smells amazing. Okay, so anchovy paste. How much do you put in? Maybe like a teaspoon, like that much. It's about right. Looks good to me. About a teaspoon goes in. So that's basically most of the spices I'm going to put in here. I wait to salt, because remember the meatballs had some salt in them. They had a teaspoon of salt, right? It was 1% salt per every, or whatever you're going to do. So if you're going to do 1,000 grams, let's say you're doing grams, you're going to do 1,000 grams of meat. You're going to put in 10 grams of salt. If you're doing 2,000 grams, just shy of a kilo, you're going to put in 20 grams of salt. So there's already salt in the meatballs. There's salt in here already. So just want to stir this for a few minutes. The smell is just beyond fantastic right now. Okay, my onions look like they're good. And the onions are going to finish cooking off in the oven regardless. Okay, now it's time for the garlic. So remember, I had 15 cloves of garlic here. which is basically one entire bulb. I just cracked them with the back of a chef's knife. This is a 12-inch chef knife. So now what I want to do is just get on my garlic, not the lid to the anchovy paste, throw my garlic in. Now time is against you, so this is when you need to move. Okay, garlic goes in. Give that a little toss, a little stir. Right, getting flavor town. Remember, all this stuff will come up again once you put the sauce in. So, now it's time for the tomatoes. I've got crushed tomato here, Hunt's and Muti. You could use whatever combination you like, but I like these two the most. Remember, we're still on low heat here. So here goes 1 can of tomatoes. This is crushed tomatoes. By doing this as well on low heat, you're avoiding the splashback by putting sauce into hot oil, if that makes sense. Okay, second can, this is the Hunt's. And these are 28-ounce cans. I'll show you that in a second. Let's get this in there. And as you can see, where's my 28-ounce marker? There you go, right there. So, two 28-ounce cans for 2 pounds of meat. I don't know if you guys are keeping track of the ratios and all that. So now what I want to do is just stir this. Right, just try to incorporate everything. And this is when it's time to turn the oven on. Because we are going to put the meatballs back in, and then we're going to throw everything into a preheated 350 degree oven for about 30 minutes. We'll check on it, and then everything's going to fit, I promise. We'll check on it, and then if it needs to cook more for another 15 minutes, we'll go ahead and do that. What you could do here as well is add some Parmesan cheese or Pecorino Romano or Stray Romano or whatever, anything that ends in an O, right? Parmigiano, Reggiano, Pecorino, any kind of cheese. You can go ahead and put your cheese in. What cheese is going to do at this point is the cheese is going to separate. You're going to get some of those oils from the cheese and flavors that are going to release back into the sauce, which is going to add a whole nother level of flavor town. So what I'm going to do at this point is, I feel like I'm almost here. I'm going to turn my oven on. I'm going to go for the oven. I'm just going to do bake at 350 degrees, which it's at. Hit the start button. So this is going to warm up. Right, there's my upper oven. Racks down low. And when that hits 350 degrees, meatballs go in, lid goes on top, whole thing goes in the oven. I'll be back at you with another video to show you that process. Stay tuned. In the meantime, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We're making meatballs on this channel. I'll be back with another video in this series.